So today we are going to start with one of the designing technique under this course, and that is called greedy algorithms. Now let us first try to understand what do we mean by designing technique. See, whenever you have been given to solve any problem statement, there are always a class of a problem. That means a problem falls into a category or something which you can group together. For example, sorting is a problem, right? Scheduling is a problem. But when it comes to the scheduling, there are different classes or different problem statements which actually falls under scheduling. Let's say you want to schedule, it's kind of an activity selection problem or deadline scheduling. So that all falls into a single category. And again, there is a combined category as well. So like an optimization algorithm, decision problems or decision algorithms. So the optimization algorithm are those algorithms which tries to optimize something. So all the problems related to the optimization falls into that category. Again, all the problems related to the decision making falls into some another category. So what I mean to say is that when you are targeting any problem statement, that problem statement falls into a very limited set of fixed category, and it is assumed that if you can solve one problem belonging to that category with one method, then all the other problem belonging to the same category can be solved using the same method. So, and that's why there exists a various designing technique, and the basic objective is when you know that, let's say, a making change problem is a problem which is to optimize something, and you know that there is another problem called knapsack problem, which is also needs to optimize something. So, because both of these are an optimization algorithm, and because knapsack problem can be solved using greedy, you can also solve making change problem using greedy as well. That is the objective. Uh, when you know that two problems are similar, then you can apply the same method which is being used to solve problem X, which is already known to you that how to solve X, that can be applied to solve problem Y as well. So that's why there exists a various designing technique. It's like a class of solving a method. It's kind of a generic technique. So you give any problem statement which can be solved by that technique. That technique will definitely give you the solution for that particular problem. Obviously, that problem has to be fall within that category only. So greedy algorithm is one of that designing technique. Even dynamic programming is another technique. Divide, divide and conquer is another technique. So all these are the technique to solve a problem, and they are called designing techniques. So one of them is greedy. Now this is just an overview of what will be discussed under this chapter. We'll try to see some general characteristic of greedy algorithm. We'll discuss a generic method. As I told you that this is a generic solution. Generic means that a solution can be applied to different class of a problem. So we'll try to understand that. Uh, and then we have a few problems which will be discussed: an knapsack problem, minimum spanning tree, shortest path, job scheduling, Huckman code. All these are various problems which will be discussed. So let us try to understand the method first. What do we mean by greedy technique? Now, as the name suggests, greedy means if you show the if you know the dictionary meaning of greedy, greedy means lalach. In greed, it's basically a lalach. Now here, uh, it's a technique which is very much straightforward. इट्स लाइक द सिंपलेस्ट अप्रोच. जो आपको अभी सही लगता है वो करो. दैट्स व्हाट दिस टेक्निक मीन्स. डोंट वरी अबाउट द फ्यूचर इम्पैक्ट. डोंट वरी अबाउट द हिस्टोरिकल एस्पेक्ट. Let us try to understand this. The classical example which I do believe that it is most suited is The way you take or select your branch while you are planning for your engineering course. Obviously, what we do is majority of us, what we do is who is trending or which branch is trending right now. So everybody is doing computer engineering, so let me start with computer engineering. And I'm going to do computer engineering because so and so, and there are various reasons. Uh, I'm not saying that you are not or you have not thought about the future impact, but in general, the way we observe the people, most of the time, because my friend is taking admission in computer engineering, I will be taking admission in computer engineering. Whether I know the logic or not, whether I know the programming or not, whether I can imagine the designing or algorithm or flowchart, I am not worried about that aspect. At the same time, I am also not worried about uh, what are the millions of computer engineers are going to do after 5 years or 10 years. We are not worried about it. What we are thinking is, okay, this is the best thing looking at this moment, and I am going to do it. And we'll see whatever happens in the future. Or whether I am capable or not, that also I'm not worried. So I'm not worried about my historical aspect. The historical, I means that the capability or the basic understanding which is required for computer engineering, I'm not worried about that. I'm also not worried about what is going to happen after 5 years or 10 years when all the engineers are only computer engineers. And what will be the opportunities, what will be my chances of, uh, or what will be the future of my professional career, I'm not worried about it. I strongly believe in myself, and I strongly believe that, okay, this is the way to go forward. That is greedy. I'm not worried about historical aspect. I'm not worried about the future impact. I will take a decision which looks best at a moment. At this moment, I consider that computer engineering is the best branch to choose, and that's why I will select that. That's it. Obviously, you have some reasons for it, like my friends is doing computer engineering. Second, it's very easy to do master programs if you want to go abroad in computer engineering. So there may be some decision parameters. While taking the decision, obviously you are looking at something, but you are not worried about future impact. And also, once you have started computer engineering, you are not going to change your branch. So greedy is a technique where actually once you have taken the decision and go forward, you are not going to come back. That is what greedy means. Greedy never reverses its decision. It never worried about the future impact. It never worried or it never takes care of the historical aspect. It just thinks about the present situation, and it makes the decision based on the various constraint which is to be followed. For example, one of the constraint may be that whether I can get an admission in good college or not. So if I will get an admission in good college, then I will definitely do computer engineering. So that is the constraint. So you might have set some constraint that, okay, these are the colleges in which I'm going to do computer engineering. So if I will get into that colleges, then only I will do. Otherwise, I will do next choice of my branch. Let's say IT engineering. So this is how greedy works. It looks at a present situation. There are some criteria which is to be followed. And based on that criteria, whatever looks best at the moment, you will take that decision. And in future, if it is found, okay, my that decision was wrong. If I've taken chosen X instead of Y, then I will have, or I should have, or I would have given or obtain a more optimized solution. No, in greedy, you are not allowed to reverse your decision. So that is an overview of what do we mean by, or what is the general method. Obviously, we will going through these statements. As I told you, it's a simplest and most straightforward approach. Why should I say simplest? Because when you worried about the future impact, you have to be more complex. There are some complex and involves in that, because you never know what is the future. That's the complexity. Future is unpredictable. That is the complexity. So either you have to go for checking every possible scenario. It's like a brute force where you check every possible scenario. If I choose X, then at next stage there will be Y, A, B, Z, I to Z. So what will be if it is A, what it will be B, what it will be C. So there are lots of scenario checking when you do, or when you worried about the, or when you make a choice based on considering the future impact. So there are lots of complexity involved when you go for this approach. Contradictory, it greedy, you are not worried about that. That's why the approach is very simple and straightforward. Greedy can be applied to majority of optimization problem. Now let us first try to understand what do we mean by optimization problem. I have already told you that it is a class of a problem where you are supposed to optimize something. Let me give you another example. You want to optimize the distance to be traveled between, let's say, Surat railway station and C.K. Pithala College of Engineering and Technology. So obviously, those who are aware of the city, those who are regularly commuting in the city, they very well know that which is the shortest path between railway station and C.K. Pithala Engineering College. Now, here you want to optimize the distance to be traveled. So you will take a shortest path, a path which has minimum distance traveled. Now let us change the problem statement, or let us change the optimization function now. Now my objective is to optimize the time. That means I want to reach at a college with time required. So obviously now you will look for that route which has a minimum traffic. Whether it's shortest or not, you are not worried about it. Your bike or car should go at the maximum speed it can travel in a city. So that is your objective. So obviously you will select that route. Now let us again change the objective function. Now your objective is to optimize the fuel requirement. So now you have a dilemma. What is that dilemma? Because in order to save fuel, if you go for a, let's say, shortest route, then shortest route may be having more traffic. So even though that route is shortest, but your fuel consumption may be on the higher side. On the contrary, if you take a largest route, so your there will not be traffic, or there can be a minimum traffic, but on the contrary, you have a larger distance to travel because of that route which you have selected. So now you have to make a choice whether I should go for this route with expected traffic, and this is the distance which I supposed to travel, or I should go for Y. Obviously, to take the decision, you require something else as well. So you will add the time. So at which time I am actually traveling, or I am supposed to travel. So let's say if it's an office hour, then obviously you will not choose the shortest route, which might have more traffic due to the more people traveling. At that time, you will go for the larger route because it is less condensed. But let's say you are traveling at night. So when you are traveling at night, there will be less number of people on that route, and obviously the shorter route will actually optimize the fuel consumption. The important point which I want to make over here is we do follow optimization, or we do optimize everything throughout our life. We always have that inherent circuit within our mind which actually runs every time, which actually does optimize everything majority of time. So those who are intelligent people, those who consider themselves intelligent, they always tries to optimize everything. You will try to optimize your time, you will try to optimize your resources, whatever resources you have. So at shopping, at traveling, at when you are playing, when you are enjoying, when you are reading also, because when you are preparing as well, you don't want to spend a lot of time. You will find, or you want to find out that resource which can give you more understanding while reading less. So you are always interested in those literature which are more informative and more easy to understand. That is optimization. So the point over here I want to make is optimization problem is a class of a problem where you are actually optimizing something. So there is an objective function. In the example which I have discussed, objective is, in first case, objective was to minimize distance. Second case, objective was to minimize time to travel. In third case, objective was to minimize the fuel consumption. If objective changes, problem changes. Remember, if objective changes, problem changes. And based on that, method to solve that problem also changes. But Greedy can take care of all of this kind of an optimization problem. It can solve this problem. That is what we mean when we say that it is applied to optimization problem. So I hope you have understood what do we mean by optimization problem. This is the class of a problem which is actually can be solved using Greedy. Third thing, we have discussed, Greedy is simple and straightforward. The reason for that is it takes the decision based on the information which is available. When I say available, it means that you are already having the information which will be useful to take the decision. You are not going to assume anything. You are not going to consider like if this is happened, then this will be the decision. No, it's there with you. All the inputs, all the informations, all the values which are required, it's there with you, and the decision will be made based on that information only, without worrying about the effect of the decision may have in the future. That is what we have discussed. While making the decision, you will not be worried about the future impact, and because you are not worried about future impact, you are not going to reverse any decision in Greedy. So, in general, solution is to make a local optimal choice. Local means at this moment. Optimum means what looks best. And choice means obviously the decision which you are supposed to make. Most of the optimization problem requires decision making. Again, let's try to continue with our same example. I want to travel from railway station to Pithawala College. So it's not like it's straightforward that there is a plan A, there is a route A, route B, route C. No, you always have, okay, from station, first step is, let's say I want to reach at Majura Gate. So then what is the optimal path? So that was the first point where you are supposed to take the decision. Now from the Majura Gate, I am supposed to make another decision that from Majura Gate, should I travel to the BRTS road on that Udna Magdalla road, or should I go to the Athwa Gate and travel through Gaurapath or Athwa lines? So every optimization problems require decision making, and that's why we say over here that you make a local optimum choice. What do we mean by local optimum choice? Local means at this moment, optimum means looks based, and choice is obviously a decision which you are supposed to make. However, while making this choice, you are always concerned about the constraint. It should not be violated. For example, I am again continuing with the same example. The constraint is you are supposed to travel via car. Okay. So that is the constraint. That the mode of transportation will be car only. Obviously, it will change. The constraint always plays a role whenever in any problem statement. Constraint always plays a major role. because again, if I change the constraint, you can travel via bike or car. Then sometimes your problems become more simpler, because if I'm having a bike, then I should not more worried about the traffic on that road, because bike can always get it path and it can always go faster. So what my point is that at every time whenever you are making a decision, let's say I'm making a decision that from station to Majura Gate, I need to make a decision. Then I also have to check the constraint as well. What is the mode of travel? So it's a car. So this is good if it is a car. That has to be checked. Obviously, so that is the constraint. Always, all the optimization problems will always have some input constraint associated. So that is to be checked while making every decision. So that is another aspect which you should understand. And after doing all this, so you start making choices by considering the constraint, and finally you will hope that it will lead to the global optimal solution. The interesting word over here is hope. Now, what do we mean by hope? Hope means there is no guarantee. You might get succeed, you might get failure. So it's not like always binary. Here you are optimizing it. So optimizing means that let's say you are optimizing a path, or let's say time. So it may not be necessary that the algorithm which you have chosen using greedy technique always gives you the optimum time. It may not be the same. Optimum results are not guaranteed. Okay, there are some technique which actually gives you the guarantee of optimal result, but greedy will not give you any guarantee. So that's why deliberately we have used the word hope. Hope means you may get an optimum results, or you may not. So that is what greedy is. Now you might be thinking that if there is no guarantee, then what is the point of having this method? There is a point, and that is its simplicity. Okay, because it's not necessary that it's always an optimum result are always good. That is not necessary. There are the cases where suboptimal results are also it's okay. I'm just sharing you the incident today only. One of the faculty was planning to buy a laptop. So we are looking into the configuration. So finally we have sorted out two models, and one model with a RAM of 2666 megahertz. Both were 8 GB only, but one was having 2666 megahertz, and the other was having around 3200 megahertz. So one of the faculty, we are just discussing actually, and there was always an argument, right? So we are just discussing, okay, which one is good and that. So the one which having 2666 megahertz, other configuration are almost same, but only this is what different is. So one is having 266 megahertz, then the price was around 60,000. Another was price was around 62,000. So then we were discussing that which one is good and etc. So one of the faculty was saying that no, this is good because it has look, this is 2666 and this is 3200, so almost 600 megahertz of different. Then we have tried to identify that how, because we don't know these numbers actually, how it's going to affect the performance, we don't know. Then we actually try to figure out that is there any significant difference when it comes to this. So interestingly, it is found that there is no significant difference, because in performance it's very minute thing, the megahertz or the frequency at which the RAM is operating. The reason I am sharing these incidents is very simple. The reason this greedy technique is in existence is, even though there is no guarantee of optimal solution, but it gives you the guarantee of suboptimal solution. Suboptimal means a solution which is near to optimal, right? So if the shortest distance between station to Pithawala is 23 kilometer, then or the shortest time to travel is, let's say, 45 minutes, then greedy might not give you 45 minutes all the time. Sometimes it will stick at 44, 43, sorry, 46, 47. It's may possible. But it will not give the 100 minutes, a solution which requires 100 minutes. It always gives you, if your optimum is 45, then it always gives a guarantee of a very near value within the range of 45. So that is called a suboptimal solution. A solution which may or may not be the optimal, but it is very near to optimal solution. So, and that's why greedy is there in the existence, and that's why there are many problem statements till today can be solved using greedy algorithm. The main reason is its simplicity. It's very simple and straightforward, no complexity involved. Okay, so I hope you understood the primary aspect of greedy. Any doubt till this point? Anything which you want to ask, which you want that I should discuss more on that? Yes, anyone? Okay. So there is no question. It means that I should go forward. So now we have discussed what is greedy, what exactly it is doing. Now let us try to understand that we said that optimization problem can be solved using greedy. Does it mean that every optimization problem so can be solved using greedy? That is the question which is to be uh, that is the question which is to be asked, that it can solve optimization, but can every optimization's problems can be solved using greedy? So no, the answer is no, because obviously it's a technique which requires some property of a problem statement which has to be there, otherwise it cannot be solved. So let us try to understand what is that property. Mainly it's uh, two property. First property says that a globally optimal solution can be arrived by making a locally optimal choice. So problem must have that property. If I consider the same example which I have given, the problem must have the property when if I want to travel from Pithawala to, or sorry, station to Pithawala, then it's a distance, a shortest distance problem. Now, shortest distance problem should have a property that if I want to travel, or if I want to minimize the distance from station to Pithawala College, then the local optimal choice means I will, first stage of my traveling is from station to Majura Gate, for example. When I can say, or when can I say this, that this problem has a greedy choice property? Only when this is a problem which actually takes care of its local choices. Let us give me more explanation. When you are assuring that you can minimize the distance between Surat to station to Majura Gate, and distance, if you can minimize x to y and y to z, then x to z will be optimum. That is what it means. The global optimum solution, that is from x to z, will be optimized. Problem has to have that property. In our case, shortest distance do have that property. So if you can minimize the time between Surat college to Majura Gate, if you can minimize time between Majura Gate to college, then you can always minimize the time between station to college. So this property has to be there whenever you are dividing or making or constructing your solution. Each local solution should lead to the global optimal solution. So that is what we mean by greedy choice property. globally optimal solution can be arrived by making a locally optimal choice. In reverse, I can say if you make a local optimal choice, then it is always assured that global optimal choice can be arrived. Okay. So that is the first property. Second is somewhat similar, but it is been put in a different way. Optimal solution to the problem. Yes. Okay. So the second one is the same thing. If you from the understanding point of view, I always consider these two property are same because these are just the words which is being used in different context. Otherwise, the meaning is same. Optimal substructure property. It means that optimal solution to the problem contain optimal sub-solution. Substructure means that you can decide or divide your problem statement in such a way that if you solve a part of a problem, first part of a problem in optimal way, if you solve second part of problem in optimal way, if you solve kth part or ith part of a problem in optimal way, then when you combine the results of all this, you will always get an optimal solution. So this is an example which I can explain for activity selection problem. Activity selection problem, we will understand this, but it is a problem where you have a set of activities and you are supposed to choose the activities from that. Obviously, you can't perform everything. You can't attend the session at two activity. You can't do the two activity at the same time because the resource is only once. So single resource cannot perform multiple activity at the same time. That is a constraint. So in that problem, if we say that optimal solution of problem begins with activity A, right? Then the remaining one is this one. So if an optimal solution of this problem S begins with first activity, then A dash means the remaining optimal solution is A minus 1. A minus 1 because 1 is already been selected. A is an optimal solution for problem statement as does I belongs to S where S of I is greater than F1. Now S of I means start time of activity I and F of 1 means finish time of activity 1. Because you have selected the first activity already, you cannot select any other activity till first activity finishes. So you can only select those activity Si for which their start time is greater than finish time of first activity. If your activity begins at 8 o'clock and if it is about to finish at 10 o'clock, then you can only select those activity which begins after 10 o'clock. That is what it means. Now you might be arguing that what it actually indicates. It indicates that your problem has a property which can be solved in substructure. And that's why it is called an optimal substructure property. Overall, you need to understand the context, you need to understand the meaning which is associated with these two property. Uh, Otherwise, the statements are self-explanatory that, and they are more like similar. Both of these are similar statement according to me. That optimal solution to the problem contain optimal sub-solution or globally optimal solution can be arrived by making a locally optimal choice. Both of them are same, only the context is changed. That's why these are the two properties which is required for solving any greedy problem. So if you want to solve any problem using greedy, then problem must have any of these two properties. I hope you understood this. Okay. So before we go forward, we'll stop here. It's 10:43. So anything which you want to ask? with respect to whatever we have discussed till now. Yes, anyone? So I told you in the beginning only that algorithm is subject about understanding. It's not a subject about remembering. Remember this thing very carefully. So you have to understand the inherent aspect, you have to understand the inherent behavior of everything. So when you talk about greedy, it's about the simplest approach. It's about making choices. It's about making choices which looks best at a moment. You are not worried about future impact. You are not going to reverse the choice, even though it found that this was the wrong choice. But because it is being made, it's there. You have to deal with it. And at the end, you are actually hoping that you will get an optimum result. It means that there is no guarantee of optimal result, but still we are using it because it always gives you the guarantee of suboptimal result and result which is very near to the optimal one. And you are not always concerned about the optimum result. Even though you get the suboptimal, it's fine, it's okay with you. And that's why people used to use this technique due to its simplicity. So that's the overall aspect of a greedy. In the next session, we will continue with our discussion and we'll try to understand how actually greedy solves a problem, any given problem. Okay, that's it. Have a nice day.